So you stumbled upon our podcast.
Hope you got a lighter.
Bow. Sup, I'm Lotta.
And it's your boy Quise. Welcome to Functional Potheads.
What up? Glad to be back.
What's going on? I feel like it's been a long break. We had like a week and some change in between recording.
Yeah. And I think a few things has happened. Also, not a lot. You know what I mean? That's the thing about cannabis. It's not, I feel like people who do weekly podcasts, I'm wondering, like, how are you watching this situation develop before you're speaking about it? You're just speaking about it really quickly. I like to see it develop over weeks, you know, because something could change it so fast. So I do enjoy taking some time in between the episodes and chatting. What you smoking on?
Oh, today I got the Motor Breath from Fat Panda.
What?
One of my favorite terp profiles, kind of like that garlicky, piney, all your worries and stresses in the world melt right away along with your face when you hit it. Perfect.
Nice.
And then some Monster Kush from Herba.
I fuck with
Shout
Herba.
out to Herba.
Literally.
I think,
I just had
in my personal opinion, best cure in the game.
Seriously. And the price point is unmatched. The price point for it, unmatched.
And they have such good weed. Not even a fan of strawberry cough. Their strawberry cough is phenomenal.
Yeah. I just smoked Thai 99, which is a Thai cross with a Cinderella 99. Great. The Hawaiian Dutch, fire. The only one I didn't try recently was the Sin Mints they just dropped.
That's cinnamon cookies?
No, I think they just have it as Sin Mints, but yeah, Sin Mint cookies, I think, maybe.
Ooh.
I was going to grab some this week coming up because I've been getting little tasters, you know, but I was actually going to invest in some of that from them.
Yeah, definitely. Fuck with Herba. They got some gas. What you smoking on?
Right now, I rolled a couple of joints. Rolled 2 joints. Actually, I rolled 3. And this one I'll get into in a moment. But the one I'm smoking is by Dog Walker by Constellation Cannabis. So
Constellation got some gas.
They do, and this is their breeder's cut. The homie came through and left it for me, and I appreciate it. But I think what they do very well is hash rosin.
The hash rosin is definitely cut above a lot of other hash rosins on the market right now.
And they also dropped vape pen cartridges, hash rosin vape.
Oh, rosin cards?
Rosin cards. They dropped those. I was like, cool, y'all doing some things that's different. They're really pushing it a little bit. The weed doesn't, to me, look like the prettiest, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure Constellation, like, their first order of business is the hash rosin. And, like, the weed is just something that happens to be a product that they need to do hash rosin. So they also sell, the weed itself.
Exactly.
But hash rosin is something that they do, and they do very well. I think that's, like, their main focus at Constellation.
Yeah, and I really like their website. Very informative, unlike a lot of other ones where it's either under construction, it hasn't even been updated by the latest strains that they've dropped or none of that. They're like, yo, this is what we grow, and these are the genetics, you know, and the history on it, and I appreciate that. So the next one I'm going to smoke, the TBC, the Baker's Ring Collective. We did an adult trick-or-treat, and the strain I picked up was Danksar Smarties. So that's what I have next. And I really enjoyed smoking some of it last night. So you should go out and get it.
Never had Smarties from Danksar. I've had Smarties from can't remember the name. But yeah, really dope strain. Really like nice, relaxing indica.
Yeah. It just tastes nice. Everything about it's pleasant. So I had to get some of that. This bad boy, every time I've been rolling up a joint, whatever was left in the grinder, I've been putting into a little zippy until I have mad weed in the zippy over the last week and a half. And this is a Frankenstein joint. And I had so much weed that this is Frankenstein joint number 2 because I rolled one last night. And it started out real positive last night. upbeat, watching the show, enjoying myself. Somewhere along the lines, the other strains popped in and it felt like a
Yeah.
knockout. I ended up horizontal, and I enjoyed myself.
Like that knockout that young boy from Baltimore laid on homie the other night. You see that shit?
No.
Textbook uppercut, one of the craziest punches I've ever seen in my life. He was getting warmed and then he just came out of nowhere, uppercutted him. Homeboy was like, night night. You know what I mean?
I'm eating a Pioneer Square because I remembered I had some in the fridge.
I know we stated this before. Pioneer Square is one of the best edibles on the market in Washington. They are delicious.
Yes.
And like just perfect consistency. They're a vegan option, which there aren't very many vegan options.
Nope.
Like it's the big up to Pioneer Squares and what they're doing.
So how's weed helped you recently?
Weed has just always been a topic that always amazed me because it's all encompassing for medical reasons, industrial reasons, and being a part of internal review team for the company that I work at. I have learned so much more, and I've like began to like branch out and like really study different cannabinoids and what they do and what receptors they interact with in the body. So I would say cannabis has and still will probably be teaching me for like the rest of my life because the plant is so vast.
Talk to him. Like, I think that's the most exciting thing to me because I can get bored. Once I've felt I've learned all I need to learn about something, and I know that sounds cocky to say that you can, but maybe I've experienced all the things I need to know about a subject and I can predict how it's going to typically flow, I get bored. I'm not as excited about that topic. It's not as fulfilling. And I find that cannabis, there's something new each day I look into it. And that's thrilling to me right now.
Ditto.
So I really do agree with you. Personally, it helped me connect with cool people online. Yesterday we had Baked and Blessed, the Halloween sesh, Munch Music, who's an artist from Detroit. So dope. Put on like I guess a private concert for us because I thought he was gonna make a mix. That's all I thought. I thought he was gonna give us a light up and listen mix. He performed all of his own original music and just like interacted with the crowd. And the crowd wasn't huge by any means, but the people that were in there were so cool. He chatted with everyone. Folks from UK that I've never met popped up. Like, how did you find this link? Thank you for coming.
Right, I was supposed to stop in, ate a little bit too much on it, so
That happens.
yeah.
Nobody's tripping, but the video will come out. We're gonna work on a special edit, drop it on our YouTube so everybody can get a taste of the concert that we had. Some of his songs just correlate to the moment that we're living, and literally and like figuratively, like physically, we were all in different places. But yeah, it was great. So moving on because the drugs are talking. Going to Oregon.
Cannabis roots.
Oh, dang. You ain't going to even let me tell you about going
Oh.
to Oregon and my experience at Oregon?
I didn't even see that part. I didn't even
Okay.
see that part.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So Portland, bam. What
Yeah.
happened?
So I took a little road trip. I've been seeing a lot of dispensaries like promoted as having fire weed and even some people at the shop talking about Oregon bud. So I was like, I'm going to go experience it. I've had it, but I feel like you have to know the shops. In Washington, you got to know the vendors. But in Oregon, it's like finding the right shop to buy weed at. And I picked
vertically integrated, right?
Yeah.
All right. So for those who don't know, vertically integrated, they grow their own weed, they sell their own weed in mix with other vendors, but the majority of the weed that they sell does come from in-house.
Yeah. And that was so cool. So we pull up to this building. We're kind of concerned just because of what it looks like. It ends up being Archive Portland, and y'all should check it out. But
wait. Like Archive Seed Bank? Archive?
I mean, they have seeds because it was a whole grow operation.
If it was Archive, like Archive Seed Bank, then we might have to revisit them because they got some fucking heat dropping right now.
It was so good. The weed was fire. You go into a small little room, but everything is there. They sell you clones. They'll sell you seeds if you're looking for it. They're edibles and stuff, but they make them. It's their shit. And you just see jars of cannabis in front of you, and they slide you a book. Like, just pick out what you want.
How was the pricing?
You know, $54 an eighth for top shelf. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. But the weed, though, the weed was beautiful.
Well, how would you rate it, like against Washington cannabis? Like,
Man, dang. Wow, I can't even believe I'm gonna say it, but quality of weed is better.
So this is the thing, though. Okay. Even though this is not my state of origin, I will always argue in the favor of Washington weed. Like, if you were to take like their best and some of Washington's best fresh, because that's where we get beat out on a lot of shit, is the moisture content law that they have in play in Washington. For people that don't know, you're not supposed to let anything out of your facility that has more than 5% moisture. So that,
for a plant,
if you throw that into the equation, that little decrease in moisture, you lose a lot of terpenes. Like you lose a lot of the flavor, and a lot of companies have suffered and failed because of this law.
Okay, with that in mind, I'm gonna give it to you, Washington, because I know Washington weed is fire, especially if you know the person growing the weed. You know what I mean? You got to know when it drops at the shop, getting it quickly if you really want to get the most out of the weed that you buying on the shelves. Not to say that it's not healthy. That's up to the standards of the people keeping the weed in storage and their inspection levels on their end of the product that they're getting. You know what I mean? But Oregon had some fire weed, just overpriced for the fact that there's so much of it. Like, you have so much weed. Why is it 54 and eighth right there?
Yeah, they do have a certain abundance of cannabis because of the major scaled outdoor operations that they have. But it's one of those things. You get what you pay for. It's way more evident there than it is here, because there are a lot of companies really shooting for that middle gap, those mid-price eighths, that mid-price product. So we're kind of spoiled here in Washington.
Yes, very, very much so. We're spoiled, and we've got a addiction to be the most innovative. Like, what's the next thing we can do with this plant to give us an edge up because the competition is so fierce? So that was my trip to Oregon. That's all I had to say about the weed. The archive is doing,
look this shit up, man.
Yeah. There was doing a lot of GMO crosses, which pleased me.
You know that's right up my. That's right up my alley.
I was like, dang, man, I wish Quise was here. I didn't have time to record and get all into it. I had time to pick out which of the fire-ass weed I was going to purchase. Let's get into cannabis news, bro.
Cannabis news. What you got? What you got up first?
Oh, man. Shout out to Heather for sending me the article. Last time we talked about the town hall that I participated in, and I said you should watch it. It's a 4-hour long interview. Well, a genius decided to type it up and summarize it in their blog and made it super easy. So if you don't have 4 hours just to watch the entertainment and use your own thought process, they gave you the most important parts. You can even listen to the sound bites within this article.
Oh, they hit you with the cliff notes.
Yeah, man. It's called the Cannabis Observer. And the more I've dove into their website, they give you a calendar, a list of events going on in the cannabis industry here in Washington. They're like very active and, on the pulse of things. They have LCB meetings all charted out. So if you're interested in being, an activist in this arena, check out that website and get the cliff notes on what's been happening. How about you?
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I had brought up Peru probably like the first episode of the season or one of the last episodes of last season. They have recently rolled out a second product that just hit market. And the whole way that everything's set up in Peru is beyond baffling. For some clarification, it's medical. It's not sold in medical run facilities. It's sold from pharmacies. So
I get
they
okay.
don't have it's a big clusterfuck because Peru itself, these pharmacies don't have the money to put up, like even if you're a chain of pharmacies, to be able to have a facility in which you are able to receive raw product. You have to yourself as a pharmacist break that raw product down, make that raw product into something that can be consumed like readily like available. Like, so you would have to have a whole processing situation.
They don't understand how weed works.
I don't think there is a real like understanding. And then on top of that, you have to have the government issued license. Then you have to have all kinds of permits just to be able to dispense said medicine.
But I'm already a pharmacist. Why do I need to spend more money?
It's so wild. Like the more I read into it, the more I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? So because there's one license or two licenses in all of Peru for people to produce this, but they don't have the production power. So a lot of this is being imported from Uruguay.
Okay. You're not even benefiting from it.
Yeah, it's a big fumble in the process. So what they are benefiting off of is the permits.
Yes.
The money that they're charging for permits and licenses. But they really need to open up the whole entire market, because there are several companies that I read and came across. I have interest in Peru, but Peru, they just don't have the production power because they don't have the laws in place. But they rolled out a second product, which is kudos to them, and it is a cheaper product compared to the product that was put out prior to it, and it is strictly all CBD at this point, like within like their medical market. There's no THC present, not because it's not allowed, just because there's just so many permitting things that you would have to get as a pharmacist, mind you. Yeah, so it's a mess. It is a mess. The more I read into it, the more I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Hey, Peru, I got a message for you, Peru. Can you just talk to someone who grows weed? Maybe just call up some people that actually grow weed and have a conversation with them instead of making laws that you only thing that you see at the end of these laws are the dollar signs that you could put within your pocket to do whatever the fuck else you want to do. Maybe focus on the medicinal aspect of the plant and you can figure out how the fuck to do it right. Because if you're worried about that, then you change your regulations lickety split to get this shit done. Because you getting weed from somewhere else to go grow it, and the only person that is selling that shit is a pharmacist who probably has no education on cannabis in school because it was banned for a long period of time. And I'm sure if you can't, y'all got me upset. You're fumbling.
And the prices for like the milligrams that you get, like just for example, 10 milliliter bottle containing 5% CBD is $105 of their money, which is about like $40.
You said 10 milligrams?
Yep. Oh no, 10 milliliter bottle.
10 milliliter.
5% THC, CBD.
5%. Okay. That's a weird way to list.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's not the way that we know percentages, which you would expect. It would differ like a little bit from country to country. Yeah. But the way that it's set up is 10 milliliters, and what percentage of that is actually CBD. So from what I understand, it would be about 50 milligrams, if I'm not mistaken. The whole thing is confusing as fuck.
It's not because you're high, honey. It's because you're wrong.
I don't know. It's just so fucked up.
I'm not wasting time.
Like the fact that you put laws like this in place, and then you have to outsource your weed.
Yes.
You are outsourcing your two leading products from two different countries.
You're a joke.
They really need somebody to step in that has a little bit more knowledge. I'm pretty sure that we have some brothers down in Peru, some sisters down in Peru that really know what the fuck they're doing as far as cannabis is concerned, but they're not being listened to. Like, these people need a voice for countries that can really profit off of it. There's no reason why the two countries that you live right next to, you have this damn near the same soil composition. You have the same amount of daylight. You could be growing this and producing this for your people on your own, but you're outsourcing it and you're sending money out of the country. I don't know.
Y'all made me smoke some weed. Speaking of that, like having people to give your say, right? That's basically what a lobbyist does for you. And lobbying in the pot industry is on the uptake, let me tell you. It's a thing now. Before, there were certain groups like Normal was always around, you know what I mean? One of the first groups that was lobbying for marijuana law reform. But now over 3.5 million has been spent in the 2 quarters alone on cannabis lobbying. And that's why you see things like the MORE Act coming across the House. But that concept right there is what drew me to ask in that town hall if they knew that the people that are currently in this industry are lobbying against them in their new equity, task force and laws. Because it's a big fucking deal. And to see not just like a week or two later after I've had this thought that an article is written breaking down how much is being spent and what is driving the cannabis talk so frequently in these rooms is money, or companies pouring money into people to go to Washington, D.C. to talk to these politicians about your subject matter. Like, that's the only way you get some sort of change happening. Rather than it just being the right thing to do, we got to pay you to listen to us. Another thing that I found funny about this article, and this article was from mjbizdaily.com, love them. That figure doesn't include money spent on lobbyists outside of the actual cannabis industry, like not positively lobbying for cannabis reform. Companies like Anheuser-Busch, it paid for a lobbyist to push for the government oversight of cannabis and CBD and food products. Like, that's why you see all of those things shifting around. The alcohol companies is dropping money. Other people are dropping money to be like, yo, can you slow this down? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Watch the money, dog. When you see big money moving and then you see the headlines in the newspaper later on, choose one and follow it. Follow it backwards. It always comes right back around. I thought it was funny that you were saying that in Peru they need people to talk to the politicians. Nah, they need money to get people to talk to the politicians.
Talk to the politicians, yo.
Yeah.
Because they're not good. Yeah, I could only imagine everywhere else to be pretty much the same as America, where you would need that bread
Corrupted.
to be able to get into the room.
A little bit more greasy with it. They be knocking people off and corrupt AF out there.
Recently, the DEA has run into a little bit of trouble because they've been doing weird shit. The wording of shit in this country when it comes to laws tend to be a little bit obscure at times, and sometimes it's on purpose.
Yes.
But the way that this law is written is that no hemp product should contain more than 0.3% THC. If it contains more than 0.3% THC, it's considered cannabis. Illegal. Yeah, I mean, it's no longer hemp, is now considered cannabis.
Yeah, which is
so
same shit.
Yeah, so what the DEA has been doing, they've been breaking into people's farms and doing random testing. So anybody that knows anything about THC and hemp and cannabis and the way it grows, at any given point in the process, this plant is going to be more than 0.3% THC. The whole point of the no more than 0.3% THC thing is when it's in production and it's getting out to people that people aren't able to get actively high off of this shit. Yes. So what companies usually do is they'll get something that comes in at, like, let's say 3%, which on a scale of like what we smoke, it's a fucking drop in a barrel.
Yeah.
So what they usually do if they have something that comes out 3% is they dilute it until it's 0.3%.
Yeah.
But what the DEA has been doing is they go in and they test people's plants at any given point in the process, not the finished product, raw material, which like leads back to a conversation we had many episodes ago about the man that was busted. He was transporting product. It wasn't his product per se. He was just a truck driver, and it was supposed to be a bunch of CBD flower. They tested the flower. The flower was at like 5%, 6% THC. So they locked him up. He ended up getting out of jail and beating the charges.
But it's bullshit.
Just crazy shit like that happens. Then it's because of people like the DEA who are holding on, not chasing down new leads like the heroin and fentanyl. We're not seeing like a lot of those big arrests being happened.
Bust none of that shit.
We're seeing a lot of repeat shit.
Marijuana.
Where they're going to legal hemp farms, like where this is somebody's fucking place of business, and you're going in there and you're breaking up their shit and you're testing, like ripping certain plants out and testing plants like right there on the spot, and you're taking people to jail and you're ruining people's lives and you're causing so much trouble, and then lawyer fees and court fees. Like, I mean, all this shit adds up.
For something you said we could fucking grow.
But the good thing is, 9 members of the U.S. Congress are demanding that the DEA amend their interim final rule. What the interim final rule is, until there is a legal statement on hemp, cannabis, and its legality, they pretty much get to play it how the fuck they want. But what Congress is saying is, we want you guys to go in and we want you to amend this. And your final rule is to be able to fuck with these people, to leave these people alone and let them conduct their business.
That's amazing. Thank you.
A little bit of goodness in there for you. You know what I mean?
Also, a potentially frustrating situation for some citizens of New Zealand. Preliminary reports has come in that says they voted no to legalizing cannabis there. It was like 53% to 46% margin.
Fire shit though. Fire shit. They said no to legal cannabis. Said yes to euthanasia.
Like human euthanasia?
Yes.
No! No!
Yo, I read that and I had to read it. I had to read it again. And I was like, yo, this shit's wild.
The gag is, bitch. Wow, you just blew my mind.
They voted for euthanasia.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to off a nigga, but the weed thing, we're not with.
Nah. The good thing is that these are preliminary results and they could change once special votes are counted, which I'm not sure how their voting system really works, but it's probably similar to our electoral college, and I hope it's not, because that's trash. But the prime minister said that they voted in favor of the reform. So the proposal, which I thought was kind of interesting, would allow individuals 20 and up to purchase 14 grams daily and grow 2 plants. And I was like, okay, Liddy, I could get down with that. You know what I mean? I would have to really read into their overall plan a little bit more, but I want to see how this vote turns out, because damn, 53 to 46, that's close.
Yo, there's a lot of interesting shit going on
in the world.
Cannabis, yeah. Voter suppression in New Jersey against like the new cannabis law. Like, so it's left up to the vote now, and everything you could think of is on the front of the ballot, and like they squeeze it all in, and then on the back is the vote for cannabis. So like no vote equals a no.
Wow. So, and how much direction does it say there's one on the other side?
There's very little direction.
Bro, they're doing everything they can to fuck with this election. It's ugly out here. A bitch voted because, like, I'm going to get my say up in this piece. Whatever the fuck happens, I said what the fuck I said. You know what I mean? I don't trust none of y'all, and I've been preparing for myself to work my way up out of this system, because y'all really don't care about me. Messing around with mailboxes, getting rid of ballot boxes, people is on the streets like covering those trash cans up to look like ballot
Oh
boxes.
yeah, I seen that shit.
Yeah, I was like, yo.
This dude was going around just pasting ballot box on all the trash cans
Mhm.
up and down the street and shit.
It's so gross. So I'm thankful for some marijuana. Well, with that, I think we should take a quick break.
The Baker's Man Collective presents.
All right, so I just want to say this next section has been one of my favorites, and it's going to be sad to see it go.
For sure.
Hopefully, maybe one day, I mean, with more understanding and more research, we can revisit Terps Talk. Terps Talk, I feel like, has deepened my knowledge on terpenes and within the cannabis plant and outside of the cannabis plant. And I've been paying attention more to cosmetics, and seeing terpenes and cosmetics is a beautiful thing because they're naturally derived and pretty easy to obtain. You know what I mean? And now as understanding of terps progress in other industries, hopefully that trickles down into the cannabis industry and we are able to bring Terps Talk back.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm going to get right into it. And our last terp is one of the most fucking difficult to pronounce, in my personal opinion. Bisabol. 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 So Bisabol is a lesser known terpene, like the last few terpenes that we have spoke about. It's plant-based. It often gives a sweet to mild floral scent. It's mainly in chamomile. And we all know that chamomile is known for its calming potential. Chamomile is also used in a lot of moisturizing and skin healing cosmetics. Bisabol is often used in those same cosmetics for that same reason. Some strands that you often will find Bisabol in: ACDC, which is a CBD strand; Harley Sue, another CBD strand; Pink Kush, OG Shark, and one of my favorites, Headband.
Love it. I love Headband.
Additional properties of it: anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, holla, antioxidant. So like there's actual things that, yeah, I mean, this does.
Terps Talk was
Shout
killer.
out to Terps Talk, man. I gotta salute Terps Talk. Just hope we see it again another day.
Well, I think that means we jumping into the next segment, which is Light Up and Listen. You know I got
Light up and listen. What you got listening to? What you got on the docket?
So I stumbled upon this album, just like you found this podcast. And Future Utopia dropped an album called 12 Questions. Mind you, there are 21 songs on this bad boy. But it's like spoken word mixed with music. They have people like Idris Elba speaking, artists like Dave collabing. It's very out there, but everything I needed right now. Like thought-provoking spoken word pieces that make you have these questions. So I really recommend just sitting down, smoking some weed, and just listening to that, letting it flow over you. I did it tonight before the podcast, and it was like, man, because as we get nearer to this election, which is well, right now when we're recording this, 2 days away, and the next time you will hear from us, maybe we didn't say it in the beginning, but y'all should know now. This is the last episode this season, so we'll have this election. We'll see how that really changes the cannabis industry, and we'll have new segments for you because Terp Talk is ending here. So Future Utopia, check that album out. And tonight I'm gonna watch the Netflix documentary called Social Dilemma, because some of these questions that are asked on this album also reflect that subject matter and how it's really hard to connect with people because of social media and the things that we put in between us. But I think it's your intention, it's your purpose, because thanks to this podcast, I feel like I get to connect to you and whoever is out there listening. Y'all my homies, so I just want to keep kicking it with y'all.
On some real shit, the ability to record this, one of my favorite parts of the week. I mean, I was afforded the opportunity to come out here and co-host and bring some light to the world that we live in and the subject matter that matters to us. And to be able to have a platform to be able to speak freely and openly about how I feel about these issues, that is fucking dope.
Yeah. It's a little bit like therapy. It's sort, venting. Like, so look at this dumb shit I read today. Did you see that? So
make it make sense.
Yeah. I love it. And also WizKid Made in Lagos dropped. I love me some Afro beats.
Fun fact, my father is actually in Lagos.
Yeah?
Lives in Lagos.
I want to go to Africa, but it's not safe there for African citizens, much less outsiders.
Soon come, though. Soon come.
For sure. What have you been listening to?
Yo, so my choices. Busta Rhymes just dropped this shit, right? It gives me the vibes of like running into like your uncle when he's telling you this wild shit, and you're like, nigga, you are a little outdated, but I fuck with you. You're like one of my favorite uncles. That's the vibes of the shit. Like, but it's very well put together, very well packaged. Extinction Level 2. So he had done an album about 10 years ago, I believe. But tight. I like it. Uncle vibes all the fucking way.
All right. I'm gonna dive in.
And then my second choice is Dave East, Karma 3. Now, Dave East has had a very checkered, like, spotty career.
Yeah.
He's had release dates where he's sold like 1,000 units, like literally 1,200 units is what he sold on a release. I believe it was the Karma 2, actually. But I feel like this album is probably some of, if not the best work that he's put out to date. I feel like they have really thought about like the structuring of the album and like how tracks are going to play out. So I think that's dope.
I like his voice, and he has no problem doing something different because I know he was in that like hip hop version of Hamilton. He spit a verse on a Lin-Manuel song, and so I like his willingness to do different stuff, and he acts. He's well-rounded.
He's caught a lot of shit for that.
Why?
A lot of shit for the acting. People in hip hop fans are very fickle. You know what I mean? They want all your attention.
But then you love movies on Belly.
You know how it is. It's weird, but like I just wanted to big him up because I ended up listening to it like from beginning to end. There's mad tracks on it. I think it's like 20, 21 tracks. Listen to it from beginning to end, and I started it over. Like I think it's a dope. It's a dope project.
That's real, because sometimes I'll do that. Like, I need to hear that back again. Let me see what this was talking about. Thank you for sharing. I will check both of those out because I saw them, but sometimes I see things and I feel like, oh, I'm not ready to dive into that right now. And it happens a lot when it's East Coast, like Northeastern rap. It's not the first thing I'm gonna go to, but I don't hate it. I like it. I just have to come back around to it. So you always remind me of stuff that I saw, and I was like, I should have listened to that. Well, honorable mentions, Ty Dolla $ign. Okay, no judgment. Let me get into it. I don't hate him, but I feel like this album has set him apart once you listen to it. Because first off, it's called featuring Ty Dolla $ign. And that is a statement I've always made about him. Like, he's cool, but I'd just rather have him on a feature. I'll listen to your stuff, but I like you more on a feature where there's a quick part or where you harmonize. He can kill those songs. And then he said, you're right. Let me give you an album. The intro to the album is like someone leaving him a voicemail like, yo, people trying to talk shit about you. Like, they don't really understand that you can play all these kinds of instruments. Like, you're a true artist. Like, you're much more than just a feature, but like show them your talent. And he does in this album. It's similar in topic and you know what you're going to expect, but it's not trash. So it's an honorable mention to me.
I actually listened to it. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Thank you.
And the dude that's talking at the beginning, I think it's TP. Like he has like tatted on his fingers, free TP, but it's his boy that's actually fighting for a pill, and he's actually coming up on a pill and shit. So shout out to him. Hopefully he gets the fuck out because the system's trash. Fuck the system. My honorable mention, The Alchemist. Like, you know, when I go East Coast with shit, I go full East Coast. So he dropped the album called The Food Villain, and a lot of it is just like Alchemist beats, and he chops a lot of snippets from Fuck That's Delicious because he's often featured on the show where they travel to different places and they just eat insane amount of food. Him and Action Bronson, a couple other boys, they all just go and fucking order one of everything on the menu sometimes. It's dope though. It's a vibe.
Okay, I hear you. Also, I guess that brings us to the end of the show. But before we get out of here, I just want to let y'all know TBC has a merch shop, and the link is in our Instagram bio. So if you like the content that we're putting out, like Functional Potheads and Rising Brands and the Baked and Blessed event, for those who are attending, we are now putting out merch. Now, I'm wearing a lovely one-of-a-kind piece, a Turp Boy original. This is not going to be on the market as of yet. I am still loving on this, but we do have a lot of products on the shop. Please enjoy. I also know my man is selling that leaf.
Yeah, you already know. That Fonto wave, you know what I mean?
It's there.
Fonto wave, full Fonto leaf.
Yeah.
Nice and clean for you. You don't got to worry about washing it. You don't got to worry about mold when you buy a Fonto wave. Holla at us at Fonto wave on Instagram.
That natural leaf. It's good for you, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you like what we're saying to you, if you like the show, especially season 2, give us some feedback. Holla at us, slide in our DMs, send us an email, info@thebakersman.com. The DMs at the Functional Potheads podcast on Instagram. Please holler at us. Let us know how we can help you.
Things you want to hear, things you want to know about, we will do that research. We will bring the shit to you.
With our level of ignorance, though, so... It's dope that you took the time to have a day with us. Until the next session.
Remember, we're just two functional potheads out here trying to bring light and truth about cannabis.